This is Quakecast, episode 51. Our guest today is Ziggy. He has his hands in a lot of Quake-related projects. He has a fantastic YouTube channel where he's played hundreds of Quake maps. He's a mapper. He's involved with the Finnish Mappers Jam. He has some amazing body art that we're going to talk about, and you want to hear that. He is the proud owner of Ricky and Loki, two dogs that I'm obsessed with. And earlier in his gaming life, he had to turn to a life of crime just to enjoy his favorite video game. So you want to hear more about that. All this and more on Quakecast 51. It is Quakecast number 51, and our guest today is Ziggy. But before we get to Ziggy, we have a new co-host. Greenwood has been on the show quite a few times, but not specifically as a co-host. Welcome, Greenwood. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing fine. How are you?
Everything's bueno. So welcome, Ziggy. You have your hands in a lot of things right now in the Quake scene. So why don't you just kind of let us know just a kind of laundry list of the things that you're involved in right now?
Yeah, I just released my first standalone map, Verdant Dawn, and then I recently find out that my QBB map, Beneath a Black Sky, has been added to the Slayer's Testaments community.
Nice.
Map pool, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that thing's going off.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm working on SME 2 as well.
And we will get to SME 2. That's the Finnish Mappers Jam. And we'll get to that later in the interview. But yeah, you have a YouTube channel, you have a Discord community, you just are a busy guy. So let's, as we always do, we ask people how they got interested in Quake. So what is your story?
As I said in the bio, I kind of got introduced into Quake blindly by a new friend I met when I started middle school in the summer of '96. So I've, of course, played Wolfenstein before that. And Wolfenstein didn't actually do anything to me. Of course, it was cool and everything. Shooting Nazis. Who doesn't like to shoot Nazis? But it wasn't like mind blowing. Like Doom was. Doom was something else.
Yeah.
And I met a guy when I started middle school, and we used to hang out at the skate park. And I met this guy at the skate park because he was new in the school as well. And we started talking about this and that, and then we started talking about games. So I talked that I played Doom, and yeah, he said that it's a familiar game and all, and asked me if I played Quake. I said no, never heard of it. And he sold it to me like it's a better version of Doom, 3D. You can swim in it and you can even jump in it, and it's a scary game. It's much darker and scarier. So all I had was just a picture about the game, because I hadn't seen anything of it, just imagined it in my head. So when I came home, I said to my mom that I need a new game, and it's called Quake. And I can't remember how long it took, but it was probably like the next week, because I remember when I come home from school, I had the box laying on the kitchen table.
Nice. You have a good mom.
Yeah. And that's something you can't like experience today, because the internet and social media is good, I guess. But something like that someone tells you about a game and you have zero clues about it. Okay, I remember watching the big box, just seeing the Quake symbol. It doesn't tell you anything about the game. If you see the Doom box, you can pretty much think what's what the game is all about, seeing the cover and the box. But the Quake box really doesn't tell you anything. So, and I couldn't even install the game, so I had to wait for my mom to get the food done and get her to install the game.
Hurry up, Mom! Hurry up!
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that the Quake boxes, it was kind of like Metallica's Black album. It didn't really, you couldn't really tell a hell of a lot what's going on. It had some air of mystery to it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's very artsy fartsy too. They had a bunch of money after Doom, and they could hire fancy design firms to come up with that stuff.
But it's a pretty neat logo.
You know, it's funny being a father of two boys. Knowing that you were more excited about Quake than food says a whole lot, actually.
Yeah.
You mentioned Doom 2016 in your bio. What made you jump in with SnapMap? Just because it was easy, or you just like the game, or?
I had a period in 2015, late 2015. A really close friend of mine got shot and killed, so that slapped me kind of hard in the face, and I kind of lost all interest in gaming at that point.
Which is understandable.
Yeah, then I picked up Doom 2016 when it came out and played through the campaign like that, and find out about SnapMap. So tried it, watched a couple of tutorials, and I actually ran into a wall with it because you eventually run out of good levels. I mean, there is a lot of good levels made in SnapMap, but they are limited. So
yeah, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, and there's a ton of like people just making a box of a room with a couple of crates and 57 barons in it. So
right.
There's enough of those. But I played through a lot of them because I think I have about 250 videos on YouTube of custom snap maps. Or custom maps, of course. It's custom when it's snap map. But yeah, the same thing. The same thing what I do now with Quake, actually. So it kind of started with that.
You're talking about your YouTube presence.
Yeah.
So in your bio, you've got this great story about some kind of criminal activity that you were involved in regarding Quake. So I'd love to hear that story. I'm sure this is a hoot.
Yeah. Well, I think it was in the summer of '98. Someone had, of course, installed Quake on the computers at school, which I guess it was done all over the world at that time. Every school had probably Quake on it in the late '90s. So there was a skate park near the school where we used to hang out, because that was the other thing I was into in the late '90s, or actually I'm still today, skateboarding.
Nice.
So we hang out at the park, and one time a friend told me that he had left a window open in the school's computer class. And he said that there's not an alarm system in that room. And I had no idea how he had figured it out. Probably was just guessing that there's not an alarm. So yeah, later that evening we sneaked through the window into the classroom, and there wasn't an alarm. So we turned on a couple of computers and started playing Quake. And yeah, that evening there were just the two of us. But we actually did this quite a few times. So I think think there was almost 10 of us at best. We,
Oh,
we never broke anything or stealed anything, so we never got caught actually. So
oh, you never got caught.
no, no.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I mean, we spent a lot of hours in there. Just then we just turned off the computers and went out through the window to way we came in, and that was it.
That is awesome. That's a great story.
I remember one time we had a kid with us. He was from the same school with how should we say it? Some serious anger issues. He had this had happened. I think it was 2-3 years before this. But this kid had stabbed another kid with a pair of scissors in the face, and
oh my God!
and the reason for this was that they had a project going on where there was cutting some stuff out of cardboard, and the other kid had just told him that he's not cutting good enough, so he punched the other kid with the scissors in the face.
Oh.
But yeah, he was one time he joined us, and I remember when we were playing, I sat behind him, so I saw his monitor all the time, and I knew exactly where he was and what he was doing, and
hide all the scissors in the classroom.
Yeah, definitely, and I remember it so well because we were playing E1 M2. And I had the rocket launcher, and I was camping the stairs that leads up to the quad by near the silver door.
Right.
So, and of course, I peeked at his screen all the time, and I noticed that he's coming from the water road into the where you pop up just beside the silver door. So I pre-fired a rocket and just looked at his screen, saw the rocket coming, and I think he did it like at least 5 times before he snapped, stood up and kicked his chair aside and screamed like, "Who's standing at the stairs? You haven't moved during the whole game. Who's standing at the stairs?" And I thought to myself that this is gonna go south from here. So I waited like 2 seconds, and then I stood up as well and screamed as well. That seriously, hey, who's the guy camping at the stairs? Luckily, he didn't know about player names at that point.
You were unknown player, unnamed player, whatever.
Yeah, I think we were all just unnamed 1 and unnamed 2 and so on.
That's funny. That's awesome. Nice. You were tempting the fates, man. Brave man. And that's the thing. I know. I've interviewed a few Finns, and I have Finns, Suomi friends, and you guys are all pretty reserved until that fuse gets right at the end, and then
the kid that left the window open the first time we went into the school when it was just me and the other guy. So the guy who left the window open and came up with the whole silly idea was actually the same friend who got shot and killed in 2015. So good memories.
Yeah. At least that's very sad, but at least you have a fun story to tell,
Yeah, a lot of them, and one which involves Quake. So
of course, yeah,
warm and good memories.
You getting into early mapping was actually kind of like, in a way, therapy.
Definitely.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's I can kind of relate, getting into Quake mapping. I was going through some stuff in my life, and it was something that I've always wanted to do, custom mapping, and it's a way of being creative and doing something constructive. It's like turning something that's almost like a hobby and something that you're passionate about and and channeling your focus, your energies into something, that can actually produce something that'll that just showcases your creativity is always a great thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's also part of the learning process. There's a lot to learn. I think learning how to do this stuff is half. I don't want to say fun, but it's half the process.
Definitely. There's so much to learn in mapping. I mean, for example, the map that I'm now working on, the standalone map, it's my 5th map, and this is the first map with monster closets in it. So I learned how to do monster closets for this map. So yeah.
Well, and so yeah, you
that's
definitely.
And that's a pain in the ass when you have over 300 monsters.
I was going to say that's a lot of closets, and
yeah.
and the way that, but what we're talking about is the Verdant Dawn, a Verdant Dawn, which is by the time we get this out, maybe it'll be pretty close to being released or released already.
Hopefully,
and,
yes.
Yeah, I've played about I don't know, maybe about a third of it this morning. I haven't finished it, but yeah, it's really fun. It looks wonderful. What I was going to say is, as I was playing it, I'm like, wow, he's really unveiling these monsters really well. So I can't wait to see how you constructed all your triggers and everything, because it's I don't want to say it's a big box, but there's a big central area, and as you go through it, triggering those monsters is no easy feat. You've triggered them at the right time where the player's in a certain area. So that you did a great job with that. It's pretty impressive, and it's what is it, like over 300 enemies on hard?
Yeah, 309.
Wow.
At the moment.
Right, for now, right?
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Greenwood, you played it, correct? Yeah, you did play that, right?
Yeah, I played it. I don't know when I, gave you some feedback, which wasn't a hell of a lot of feedback. I really enjoyed it. But I think that was maybe a day ago or so.
Yeah.
It took me about, I mean, it was almost like right on the nose. It took me about an hour. I remember looking up after going through it going, whoo! And it was like, I think I looked at the timer and it was like 60 minutes and I forgot how many seconds. And I'm like, holy crap, that took me almost exactly on the nose an hour. And I probably could have gone through it. I could have probably gotten through it a little bit quicker, but there was one point, and this is no fault to the map at all, because he's got, and I don't know what's going to end up being the final number, but and I don't know if you noticed, Dumb Truck, but there's like something like, what is it, 32 secrets?
28.
28
at the moment.
Yeah. Well, when you get up to that number, you kind of stop counting. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You got it's damn near 30, almost 30 secrets, and I saw one, and I was like, oh, and I was kind of working my way on a let's just say on like a ledge type of deal, and I fell off into that big courtyard area, and I'm like, oh damn it, I gotta work my way back up, and luckily I had remembered like way earlier in the game where a shortcut was. There might be more than just that one. Don't get me wrong, but that was one I remembered. I was like, oh okay, and then then I was able to get myself back in the zone. But yeah, I got a big kick out of it. I enjoyed it. In fact, I was chatting with Ziggy about a day or so ago. I was like, wow, the level of detail. It's he's got a lot of nice details throughout the map. I mean, if you got something like darn near 30 secrets in a map, you know that it's not something that it was slapped together for sure. He put a lot of tender loving care into the map. I mean, it's when you got an hour long map, it's almost not even a map at that point. It's almost like a little mini episode within itself.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's definitely like an episode type of map, and it's good though because it's paced really nicely, and I like all those secrets because they're not. I mean, the ones I found were not that hard to find. They're kind of nooks and crannies and things like if you're just kind of paying attention, like, oh, okay, I'm going to go over here. So you did a great job with a lot of those. Now, what was the inspiration for this particular map? We could talk about your other maps in a bit, but this, since we're on Verdant Dawn, what was your main inspiration for this? What was the jumping off point?
I would say E1 M3 is the main inspiration, and the Forgotten Sepulchre, and what's the other one? Foggy Bog Bottom.
I mean, you definitely have every brick as a brush kind of thing going, which is great. You did a great job.
Well, not every brick, but there's a lot of those in there. But you gotta have some detail around if you have 28 secrets.
At one point, I looked up, and there was like a catwalk above me. I remember staring up at the ceiling, going like, "Holy crap! He's got like he's every single wood plank in the catwalk is a separate brush." And I'm like, I don't. And I mean, I'm like, is that really a separate brush for every plank? And I kind of was like squinting. I'm like, yeah, I can barely see a crack through in between the boards. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I would have just put like I would put like some kind of rectilinear shape and slapped a texture on it that had planks, but like nope, he's got every single and those little touches.
Just put a base bridge over the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've done rickety bridges before where you got a couple loose planks here and there, but every single plank, I'm like, holy cow! But
it looks good though. I mean,
it
looks
looks
really well put together.
Looks fantastic when you do it like that.
I like the early area that looks almost like it's construction type. That's what you're talking about, Greenwood. The kind of construction area where they're kind of doing repairs and kind of retrofitting the castle or wherever you are. I mean, did you write down a story of it, or did you just start laying down brushes? How do you? What's your process?
I just started laying down brushes. I've done every map like that so far. I just start doing something.
That's great. I wouldn't change the way you're doing it then, because it's pretty cool. So let's talk about your first map release was part of Smej, which, for people who don't know what that is Menetetien Valdekunda.
Yes.
Hey, I got it. I rehearsed that a lot for that episode.
But, sounds good.
Yeah, the Finnish Mappers Jam, the first one. And that was your first map, and it was a low grav. I played an earlier version of that map, low grav. So that was cool. Talk about how you got involved with Smej.
Yeah, well, more of horrible things happening in my life.
Oh no.
We started working on the episode in June of 2019. So my best friend died in May of 2019. Drug overdose.
Oh God.
So another kind of hard slap in the face. But Vorka and Newhouse reached out to me and talked about there's going to be a Finnish episode, and if I'm interested in doing a map for it. And I responded that I never done anything related to mapping in Quake. That is, we can't talk about mapping when we talk about snap maps. But then I thought about it that once again it might be maybe a good thing to do something to get my mind off things. Either grab the bottle or grab Trench Broom. So I thought that maybe I'll download Trench Broom. So I downloaded Trench Broom in June 2019 and watched your tutorials. Thank you for those. Wouldn't be one single map made by me without those. So yeah, I watched them, every single one of them, and just started putting brushes together. But the first brush I ever made is in that map, so it's right at the beginning when you ride up with the elevator. So the brushes in the elevator is the first brushes I ever made.
Nice. So then you
came together quite quickly, actually. I had an earlier version of it that was much shorter. Because the original release for the episode was in September, if I'm remembering correct. Yeah, I think it was in September. So I had a version, a much shorter version, ready for it at that point. But then we moved the release date to December, so I made it much larger. But it turned out but it turned out pretty good for a first map.
Yeah, and it was a low grav map, which I don't think there's not enough of those, in my opinion. People need to, because it was such a seminal map in the original game. It was just one map, but again, and it was a secret map. So, so I wish more people would do low gravity stuff. In fact, I did a low gravity mod back in I think late 90s. I never released it, but I was working on it. But
oh, really?
Yeah, low gravity stuff is really cool. Now, and so you did SM206, you did Joke Jam, which was awesome. It's Bal's favorite map, I think.
Yeah.
Bal's afraid of clowns, and so there's literally clowns all over the place in that map. That was pretty funny.
It was on I can't remember if it was on Funk or on Quadicted that someone had posted in the comments that of the Joke Jam that it's a fun pack except the clown map.
So we know.
so I think maybe it's Bal's brother.
His alter ego.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had some fun stuff in there. That one was a memorable one for sure. I mean, a lot of those maps were kind of crazy, but and then so SM206. Now I'm completely forgetting which one that was.
It's the prototype textures.
So let's talk about your pals. Your Finnish pals. So now Verka. Now, do you know Verka in real life, like face to face, or
I've met him 2 times. So
okay. So you guys do a lot of co-op activities, and you are lobbying very hard for co-op. In fact, I think Copper had significant co-op additions because of you two, right? Is that correct? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You consulted with Lunaran about, I guess he consulted with you guys after your playtest and things like that, correct?
Yeah, we did 100% secrets run of Underdog Overbright.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think that he watched that, and there was some bugs in it. I can't remember what they were, but he contacted work after that, and we playtested a couple of the patches before release. We had something to do with the co-op changes in that for sure.
Oh, I think it was almost single-handedly because of you guys doing that massive Underdark Overbright playthrough.
But there really should be more co-op stuff.
Oh no, I think it's I'm not saying like, oh, it's because it's all your fault. I'm saying you guys set off you guys got the ball rolling in a good direction because those are some points that, I mean, and that's why Lunaran, I think, addressed those issues, is because of the fact that he kind of saw the writing on the wall that they had those kinks had to be ironed out for other folks out there that don't broadcast their playthroughs on Twitch or what have you, that they can enjoy playing something like that, or maybe was it like what's the one that I just had a brain fart that
Are you talking about the machine games?
yeah.
You, yeah, and of course I'm having a brain fart.
But I mean, if
Dimensions of the Past.
yeah,
Dopa.
if they want to play Dopa, good lord, why couldn't I think of a two syllable nickname? If somebody if like a couple of guys wanted to go through, or people wanted to go through Dopa on co-op, or anything else of that nature, maybe they could go old school and do Beyond Belief and co-op. It's a good thing, because there's you don't hear a heck of a lot about co-op. I try to put those in my maps
Mhm.
because it's a nicety, but you don't hear a lot of mention about people playing co-ops, and why not? I think I've seen you and RC Dump Truck play co-op once or twice,
Right, right.
and it looks like fun.
It is fun. It's a blast. I think part of the problem is it's just for everyday folks. It's tough to get a server going if you have never messed around with opening up ports. And I wish our engine people could address that. I know that FTE Quake World has or had some kind of functionality, but you had to sign up and give your email and all that crap. So I
Mm.
don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know the technical side of it, but at least like Lunarin is, he's very cerebral and really thinks things through. So the beautiful thing about Copper is I know that, and I haven't played the new co-op features yet. I know they're all well thought out and they make sense. And he agonized, I'm sure, over the decisions, and then pulled the trigger and kind of made some changes. But yeah, co-op is a blast. It's a hoot, actually.
The respawn delay is a really cool feature in the new co-op in Copper.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that co-op's blast. More co-op, please. More episodes. More co-op stuff. We've done
Yeah.
of those 100% secret co-op runs. Now we started with the Realm of the Lost. Actually, did that. Then we did Underdark, Overbright, and then we did Beyond Belief and Dimensions of the Past.
Nice.
Travail is coming up next, but we haven't just scheduled it just yet when we're gonna play it. But it's coming, Travail, and it's a big one. I mean, we're talking about 3 hours at least. The fun thing in co-op is that you can, if there's like a big horde fight going on there's like Vor spamming at you and Ogre spamming, so you can always I hope Verk is not going to listen to this, but you can hit your pal with the axe and blame it on the Vor.
That gives me something to watch on the elliptical, because I think I watched the part of the UW stream, but I haven't watched those other ones. So I would definitely love to see Beyond Belief done in co-op. So I'll be watching that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was fun as well. It's a good episode.
So let's talk about your channel and your community. You have the Lost Slipgate, which is your channel, and then you started a server. Discord.
Yep.
And you got a little community of viewers and everything. How do you like all that? I mean, I know having a community. I have the mapping stuff, and people come to the Discord. But you're a totally different kind of beast. Like, you're a player. You're like an elite player. So what's it like having a community of fans that love watching you play?
Well, first of all, it feels bad not playing enough. It really kills me now when I'm working on my own map, because like if we think a month ago, I sometimes I put like 6 videos out a week at one point, which is quite a lot, because there's you have to play it, you have to record it, you have to doing editing, and there's a lot going on. But now when I'm working on the map, so I try to do at least two episodes a week. But yeah, it I don't know. It feels weird that people actually enjoy watching me play, because I'm no RC with like RC was a guy or is a guy, but when he did the Quake grave, if we're talking about the Quake grave, like he was made to do stuff like that. If I'm playing, like I can't concentrate on anything else.
Right. So you don't want to do commentary because it's
Well,
see that's why I don't do them, because I'm bad enough as it is. If I start talking, I would be horrible.
Yeah, well, I've done some with commentary now, because I started to I started to stream on Twitch. I try now to do the jams and speed map packs as streams. So there's some commentary, but not as much as RC and the Quake grave.
Yeah, he did a very good job.
Definitely.
Of just throwing some relaxed narrative.
Yep.
Over his playthrough, that it's kind of like the whole walking and chewing gum at the same time. He did it pretty. It seemed rather effortless the way he would do that.
Definitely.
And
it's not because I couldn't do it in Finnish either. It's just it's not a language thing. It's just, I think it's just my head. Because when I play, and then when I talk. But yeah, I have some comments now and then. Now when I've the latest streams that I've done.
What?
And practice make perfect. So maybe one day I'll be better at that as well.
Yeah, what are these? Are these comments that are gameplay driven, or more like design focused?
Probably gameplay.
Gameplay.
Yeah.
No, I was just curious, since now that you've put out several maps here and there, that you're starting to just notice from going through the process of constructing and doing layout. It does go hand in hand with gameplay. I think some of the best maps that I've played have been, or I'm assuming are done from people that love the game and have played it quite a bit, so they understand the ins and outs.
Before we move on to body art, what? So, do you have any besides? I mean, I don't know if you're. I'm assuming you're involved with Smedge too, or I don't know if you can talk about it. But what are some of your kind of future plans for mapping?
Yeah, I'm involved with SME too, and I can spill some info on that. We got the same mappers plus a new mapper as well. So we're nine mappers.
Oh wow!
The new one is called Lugia. He's a Quake World player. So
has he done some mapping before?
He, if I remember correctly, he has 3 unfinished deathmatch maps, and
okay.
that's all.
Oh,
so he has got so he has fiddled around with trench broom at least. So
that'll be interesting to see what he comes up with.
Yes, and we're trying to stick to a theme this time, because we got a lot of, I don't know if it's bad or good critique, but some critique from the first one that the maps didn't feel like an episode. But then if you look at the standard campaign, I don't know if that feels like an episode if you look at it that way. You have a base map, and then you're in a castle, and then you're in a swamp.
Yeah.
And So
I'm not sure that's a good critique, to be honest with you, because because like you say, the original game is it. I don't want to say haphazard, but it's random-ish.
yeah, yep. And id maps being randomish, you have a teleporter at the end of the map, and so I mean that's enough story for the id maps.
Yeah,
Right.
I can see where the where the critique is coming from, though, because I mean, yes, I mean, with the original Quake campaign, there was some time constraints, and you can kind of tie the whole thing together with just having teleports here and there, and with Arcane Dimensions, you got the main hub area that you keep reverting back to. But yeah, I mean, even just simply having one map have a styled teleporter that kind of picks up where you left off, even with something like a Beyond Belief, where the next map kind of starts off where the last one did, at least. Maybe if you go into a mountain, a slip gate hole or whatever, and then when you pick up the next map, you're coming out of the mountain. It could be something just as simple as that. Kind of helps, I guess, sell the whole quote unquote narrative. But then, one could argue that, narrative and Quake maps is like, really, kind of, not all that important as
It's like dialogue and porn, as Carmack would say.
I was just gonna say that. It's like
Yeah.
the old analogy. It's like the story in porn. It's like, who gives a damn? But yeah, it's. I mean, you're gonna get critiques regardless. I mean, you could have the most polished, beautiful, product, and somebody's gonna still, be like, well, you could have gave me some extra box of nails. And you're like, Jesus, I just, we just spent.
The biggest critique was that the first map was too hard.
Oh, putting smile size at the very beginning.
I hate to pile on, but it was.
Yeah, well, I got some good news for you and the other listeners. He won't be first this time, because we know what's coming.
So. I mean, honestly, it really is a magnificent map. I mean, it was one of those. I loved much more of it than I hated. It was just a couple parts where I broke my mouse.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I mean, listen, that first project was so spectacular. Just talking about it, this is one of those things where just talking about it makes me like, I really want to go back and replay it. And it was really cool. It was definitely challenging. You Finnish players are amazing. I'm just old, but I just got my God mode. I just click it on, and if I get stuck, I just.
There's the three magic ones: God, no clip, and no target.
Exactly.
What do you mean hard? Was a piece of cake. Finished it in like 15 minutes.
Exactly. I made a real effort to get through that first map without, and I had actually played an earlier version of that. I was the only one. I think the only one. No, besides yours, I did play both of those pre-release. And yeah, I was like, dude, these jumping puzzles are bad. So, and he's like, no, it's not a big deal.
But it was Smilesight's first release as well. So I don't know. Newhouse was the driving force behind the first episode. Yeah. So I don't know what they have talked about. But one thing about SME 2, we contacted Ilkka Keränen if he wanted to be in a SME 2.
Oh no! Did he? Any word back?
I think he works at Valve.
Right.
So Gabe said that there's not a chance.
Oh, really?
Oh. No, I'm just kidding. we didn't get any response. But yeah.
Come on.
But we tried.
Send him some screenshots.
Yeah. But it would have been fun to have him. Oh, yeah. We have still time to get him.
You basically just threaten them. No one's going to use IK textures ever again if you don't help us out.
Yep.
No, I just got done on my channel going through his blue maps, and I did that one blue IK blue themed map for what was it, the Copper Tone. No, it would have been, no, that would be really neat to, bring somebody back from a while ago, into the modern day scene, and just seeing what he could do with a modern editor like Trenchprint would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you never heard back from him, huh?
No, not that I know about.
Well, it's
There's still time.
Yeah.
There's still time. We have
we should do like a social media campaign or something to get to pressure.
Yeah.
Bring fingers back.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
we have 4 months to go. Maybe he'll show up.
Cool. Well, listen, let's talk about body art. Now, are you going to have you posted the picture you sent me of your tattoo? Because I don't know how much you want to talk about or how much you want to reveal.
No, I haven't posted in it.
Okay, because it's pretty spectacular.
I usually don't post pics of those because they're really just a thing that I like, and I do them for me only.
Right,
so,
right.
But it's a. How can we not talk about it on the Quakecast? So I thought I'd bring it up.
Well, okay, so how did it all get started? Basically, describe what we're talking about first of all, because it is, we want to paint a word picture here for the audience.
You can describe what you saw in the picture.
Okay, so I've got a picture of your back.
Yes,
and it's from the neck down. We have a huge scrag. We have Cathan, we have Shubby on your left shoulder. Yeah. Cathan is on your right shoulder. We have Ranger, and Ranger's colored in this picture. So everything else is ink at the moment except for Ranger. And then let's see on the side, the left there, looks like a Vor has been colored in. You have the Fiend colored in as we're moving down. And my favorite bit about this is Ranger is, of course, firing, and he looks pissed off. But he's standing on a dead shambler. It almost looks like a shambler rug.
Yeah.
like a bearskin rug or something. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. There's a lot of detail in it. So when I saw that, I'm like, holy, this guy is smart. I really did. I literally my eyes went, whoa, dude. And it says right here, really haven't shared any work in progress pics, but we can talk about that too. Yes. Oh my God. So pretty spectacular. You have other Quake related tattoos as well, right? Which I've seen elsewhere. I think you posted.
Yeah. Nerd tattoos. You gotta have a couple of those. Yeah. I've got the Quake logo, of course, on the foot, and actually, I have 2 Quake tattoos. The logo on the foot, and then the one you just described that we're working on, which covers the whole back.
Now, how often do you go in? Like, how often does this?
Now, due to COVID, I haven't done anything this year, but I'm planning on going in next month.
Nice.
But I'll post a picture of it for sure when it's done. It's just like when it's a work in progress. It just doesn't feel like sharing it.
So may I gotta ask? I can cut this out too if you don't want people to know. But are the clouds going to be in the background? Is that going to be the purple clouds?
Yes.
Oh, cool. That's gonna be incredible when it's finished.
Yeah.
Oh,
Greenwood, have you seen this, Greenwood?
Oh yeah, he sent me a pic of that like months ago. It's like a Ray Bradbury illustrated man episode.
Yeah, exactly.
It's let's hope that not too many episodes come out with custom monsters, or else you're gonna look like some kind of Yakuza full body tatted up or something, for crying out loud. No, it's you gotta, regardless if you're
I got some part of my stomach that's
yeah
there. We can do like a couple of spawns there.
yeah.
Maybe I enforce her on a couple of grunts too. So.
All I can say is, like, if anybody says they're hardcore into Quake, say bullshit. You are not. You are not hardcore. Ziggy is the hardest of hardcore Quakers that I know.
But then again, I have a Doom tattoo as well, and I'm not that hardcore into Doom.
Yeah, but you have Icon of Sin on your chest, so that's right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Basically, you're an id billboard, for crying out loud. It's like it's like It's like, do you like Carmack and Romero's stuff? Oh, hold on a second. Let me take off my shirt.
You're getting in like going into a bar and you have a Doom T-shirt on, and they're like, "Sorry, man, you can't get into the bar wearing a Doom shirt." Yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna have to take it off then.
My uncle had a tattoo on his arm, and it was this beautiful kind of sailor-looking kind of marine thing, and he put Carol over the top of it, and that was his wife, Carol. And there was a flourish on the C, so it almost looked like an E. So my other uncles used to tease him and say, "Why do you have a tattoo of Earl on your?" And then they broke up. They got a divorce. So now, of course. So I mean, once you put something on your body, things change.
Yeah.
So I think of it, and one day I'll have a tattoo. We'll see. I don't know. Honestly, I give blood, so that's why I don't do tattoos, because you have to stop for a year, and I do donate blood on a regular basis. So
that's something I couldn't do.
Were you afraid of needles?
Needles make me sick. Not a chance that I could do it.
All right, so moving on to the most important thing that we need to talk about today. For a long time, I was, we're a dog family. We love dogs and everything. And I remember coming across the Swedish Vallhunds, or you're going to pronounce it better than I know, Swedish Vallhunds.
Yep.
And I fell in love with those dogs. And then very shortly after, and I showed my family, I'm like, "Oh my God, you guys, we got to get one of these. These are the most cool dogs ever." And very, very shortly, like a couple days after I went through all that with my family, we were just kind of goofing off and joking around, I see pictures of Ricky and Loki. And I'm like, "Wait, what? Wait, you have Vallhunds?" I think I messaged you like, "Wait a minute, you have Vallhunds? What the f-?" So you're like, dude, you're my hero. You are my hero in so many ways. Mapping, tattoos, and dogs.
Yeah. Two of those small. What should we call them? Bastards. The dynamic duo, and they're actually father and son. Ricky,
are they mean?
Rick, no.
Yeah, they look vicious.
He calls him bastard though.
But that was meant in the most loving way.
Yeah, I love them to death. Rick is the older one. He's 11, and then we got Loki, the son. He's 5. And yeah, they're a handful. Because it's a small dog, but they do believe that they're the size of a German Shepherd.
Yeah, they almost look like they have almost like they're like the body, like a corgi like body, like they got the mini legs, don't they?
Yeah.
They're good looking. They're good looking animals, that's for sure. They're sharp.
Yeah, they're like tightly built. They look like they could just tear you up.
Oh no, you really? You really?
No, I mean they look muscular. They look like their stature and their gait. The way they run, they're full of energy. I mean, they got a ton of energy.
I didn't read I didn't read throat ripping killer out of those damn dogs.
No, I just mean they're badasses.
They look
They're-
pretty darn.
They command respect.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
That they do.
Yeah, when they're standing there on your porch there, they look like they could kick ass. Well, they were very intently focused on a cat or something.
The picture you're looking is probably the one that they're waiting for the neighbor's cat.
Yeah, so they could kill it.
So that thing there they would rip apart.
Right. Well, here's I'm going to send you a picture of my poor man's Vallhund. I have a what they call a Corman. And so it's a German Shepherd Corgi mix, but not as bitchin' as yours. He's a wuss, man. This guy's a mama's boy.
He's cute.
Yeah, he is a cute. That's Dexter, but he's
a mama's boy.
He is. I'm telling you.
You said they call it a Corman?
A Corman. I like Shorgy better. This is kind of gives a. Let's see, where is the picture? Corman.
I got a kick out of these damn these was it portmanteau or whatever the hell it is, names for these mixed breeds. Remember back in the day, it's genius marketing. I remember back in the day, you get like a mixed breed dog, and it's like, here you go, and then all of a sudden they turn into like designer dogs. It's like, I got a schnoodle. It's like
it's like what it sounds like dessert.
It's like what do you want for that? It's like, it's $4,000. It's a designer dog. I'm like, dude, back in the day, it's like a poodle and a schnauzer. They just like, kind of tied one on and got busy, and you got like these, and then you got these like leftovers that you had to give away. Now it's like through the magic of marketing and no, you ever seen schnoodles? Those are cute as hell.
I'm gonna look up a schnoodle right now.
Hell yeah, they're man. Those are, and I think anytime you breed poodle into anything, you get like the added benefit of them being, in most cases, hypoallergenic. So you got people that have issues with shedding and whatnot. You're good to go.
Do you guys know the story of the Vallhund with the short legs?
No, I'd love to hear it. Was it kind of like a?
Vallhund means shepherd dog.
Okay.
For the first, it's Swedish. Swedish for shepherd dog, and when they herd cows, so when they chase after the cow, they run after the cow and bite them in the back leg. So when the cow kicks back, it always, when the Vallhund is so small, it kicks over the head. That's the thing with the short legs.
That's funny.
Don't know if anything of that is true, but that's how the story goes.
It's a good story, and they look great. They look like they really fit in the snowy environment. They look they look perfect.
They love the snow.
Yeah,
definitely love snow.
I'm obsessed, man. See, I live in California, so it would be cruel to have a Vallhund here, and also I have no yard. I just have a swimming pool and a dead front yard.
Just keep them in your fridge.
So let me guess, you're a cat guy, right, Greenwood?
Oh hell no! No, why the hell would you say that? That's all.
I'm just kidding. Keeping a dog suffocating in a fridge.
No,
I always go to the dark place.
I was just having some fun because they don't. You can put them in overhead compartment. On a flight, they don't take up a hell of a lot of space. I used to have. In fact, I've been actually toying lately with getting a dog because I had a damn dog for almost like 19, 20 years that I had to put down about a year ago. And because literally it got to the point where the poor dog was, blind and deaf, and, it was, the mobility was really getting impacted. But it's like, I thought about, at one point I thought about it, it's like, God, I've had this dog for almost 2 decades. You talk about a real, key player in one's life. I had a cat growing up too, but no, I've always been more partial to dogs myself. Not bagging on cats. I've actually met the occasional affectionate cat. But I think it's. I mean, God, what's the old analogy? A boy and his dog. I mean, geez, you can't get anything more beautiful than that jazz. But not, and I've actually been. You're talking about like getting certain breeds for certain environments. Um, I live in a townhome, so it's like I get a kick out. I got neighbors down the way that have like I think like two or three, got even more pit bulls. I'm like, good lord, where the hell are you putting them? Because that's a lot. That's a whole lot of dog in multiples. I just been looking at different breeds, but again, just toying with the idea. But I think right now with this whole global pandemic, it's put a lot of damper on a lot of people's ventures into like extra responsibilities and just a lot of things in general.
Well, if you want to play less Quake, then you should get a Swedish Vallhund.
Now,
There's just a couple of things to remember. Or actually one thing. It's like a small husky on speed.
Ziggy, I'm a huge fan, man, for like all the reasons, aforementioned reasons. I know you had something very touching about your Verdant Dawn. The clock in the clock tower is set to a specific time, and I don't know if you wanted to talk about that or more more of that stuff.
Yeah, the clock is set to 11, or it points at 11 and 7, which is kind of a tribute to the friend who died of the drug overdose, because he was born on the 11th of July, and we have the days first and the month second. And you guys have it the other way, I think. You would have 7.11. But yeah, I have it in every map's intermission screen. It's 11.7 at some, like in the prototype textures. It just stands the numbers just in the end screen, 11.7. But yeah, it's in every map so far. Gotta pay. Gotta have some tribute.
Well, when we would love to have you back on the Quakecast when Smay 2 is out. Smay. Or you get another Vallhund, or a new tattoo.
But I'll definitely post a picture when it's done. The back.
Cool.
But it'll be next year sometime.
It'll be worth the wait.
Because we have Rangers done, the Fiend is done, the Vor is done. So we have to do Shabby next, and then Chthon and the Shambler, Shabby, Chthon, and the Scrag, and then the background. So there's a lot of hours of pain waiting for me still. Yeah.
But listen, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. And again, I'm a big fan. I know Greenwood's a fan, and we'll have all your links. We'll pimp all your links and any photographs that we could post in the description here. And everybody go to Ziggy's channel and his Discord. And
yeah, everyone's welcome. And request some maps that you want me to play on.
Yeah. And also, I'd like to say, make sure you check out his maps that he's put out on Quaddicted. One that you guys didn't talk about, which I think went over quite well, was his classic Doom theme map.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one really came out rather nicely. But all your maps that you've made have got some nice playability to them, so they're always very very fun romp. So yeah, check out his pieces on Quaddicted, and what I think they're all listed under what your spelling that on your channel, the zigi, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So check out his work.
And now actually I got one more thing when you reminded me of the classic Doom map, because it got so the response was just so great for the Doom map. So after we wrap up this May 2, I'm gonna do a mini episode of a classic Doom.
Oh, that'd be
maps.
cool.
I think I'm gonna do four or five maps.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Really short maps.
No, I think that's one.
But probably shorter than that even. But 4 or 5 of those, and I'm gonna use Prog's dump for that. So
That's cool. That's great.
Yeah, I think with some folks being being a little hesitant of doing like a mega a mega episode. There's nothing wrong with doing like a mini ep. Like a 2 or 3 map mini ep. I think it'd be great if there was more of those out there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it for this episode of the Quakecast. Thank you to Ziggy for being such a great guest. We will have links to Ziggy's projects in the show notes, and you can find Grinwood and myself on YouTube as well. We'll have links to that. Also, the music you're listening to was done by Markey Music. So thanks to Michael Markey for providing our tunes. And we will see you on the next episode of the Quakecast. Thanks for joining us.